How are you?
Yeah, very good. What about you?
I'm great as well. It's great to be talking to you, man.
But yeah, same.
Yeah, Voidkind is a really good album. You should be
Thank
proud
you.
of it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm happy you enjoy it.
Yeah, how do you feel about the album?
Yeah, great. The whole band feels really good about it. I think it was long and intense work to make it happen. Because we had um, not expectations, but more we had a list of what we wanted to do and what we didn't want to do. And we wanted it to be like different from our previous album, and stand out on its own as people naturally compares bands between albums.
Yeah,
We just wanted to feel like, okay, this is this and this is this, and it just feel like quite different, but equally good, but just different. This is kind of where I'm at really with it. We were delighted about the result. Yeah, I think it's one of our best albums. So yeah, I'm
yeah.
I'm I'm very happy with this.
I think you were saying that, people compare between albums. This album is considerably shorter, like 10 minutes shorter than your previous album, and songs are also shorter than the songs in the other albums. Did you want
Uh,
to do that?
the album is not shorter. It's the same length. It's 8 minutes, and I think the previous one is 60 minutes. But when you start looking at it, the Voidkind is significantly denser. It's very dense.
Yeah,
There is less fat in it, if that makes sense. There is less
yeah,
because we took an approach that was a little less. We try to make things a touch more concise to bring different vibes to our music. Have those. We have a few more like 5 minutes, 6 minute songs on it, and the shortest track was SI14, and SI14 is 7 minutes or six minutes and a half.
yeah,
And then after that, everything was like above 8 minutes, and with a song that's 40 minutes on this album. With this, we still have like a big finisher, which is like a 11 minutes or something like that. Like it's a big song, but we have like a few 5 minute songs, and it's cool because it means we have to, and it's not because we didn't force ourselves to write a 5 minute song, but we force ourselves to write a few songs that were more to the point while still having these kind of build-ups and journey that you might have in some of our other songs, which I think just brings another identity to our music. Yeah, pretty happy about that, to be honest.
yeah. I mean, it's a great album, as I said. And you were saying that you wanted to write not shorter songs, but more concise songs. What compelled you to do that? Why did you decide to take that road?
Um, because we've already proved ourselves with like big long songs, and being a band that was seen as more like like a very expansive kind of in the way we were making songs, and because when we play these songs live, it's amazing, and we had a very good experience playing ETMN live. But we also wanted to be like, you know what, we'd like to be able to change the set a little, and bring things that would be a little bring different energy in live. And unfortunately, when you've got like 9-10 minute songs in average, it's quite difficult to do that because you change a song, and there's many things you need to consider: the flow of the set, the way the songs are going into each other. When you only have like 9 minute songs, it just goes like, oh wow, if you drop one song, we're gonna have to find something else, and there's so much you can do really. And also, sometime to time, we just wanted to go live and just go like, here's a song, here's another church song, a bit more back and forth, and bring a bit of a sense of immediacy, like urgency nearly. So yeah, it just again, because we didn't have that in the past, we didn't have that kind of music in our back pocket in the past for live. And then on top of that, because we just wanted to make an album that sounded different and have songs that sounded different than the previous one. That's bottom line what it is.
Yeah, it sounds like a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
And apart from this, Voidkind is when we release on the 19th of April. what can you reveal to your fans about this album apart from that bit?
Well, I think they heard two new singles, and some people might feel like they know what they are in for. We start releasing like probably the most pop song we've ever written. It's like very accessible with Pleroma. And then we went for a song that is a lot harsher. They are very different songs. I think they are complementary. I think all the songs on the albums are, again, different than the songs that they've already heard. So I think they're in for a surprise if they think, if anyone think it's going to be like, oh, this is what this album is going to be like. This album is within that realm, but there's so many different things in it. There's a song that has a huge Middle Eastern, Balkan vibe to it. There's another song that is like a huge trip melodically and very clean singing, but like goes into all these kind of things in a different way with Eleonora. Then we've got the closer of the album, which is probably one of the songs I'm the most proud of, which is I think a very original song, and it's a bit of a, pardon the language, but a bit of a what the fuck kind of song. It's like such a range of different things that shouldn't work together, but weirdly enough worked. So no, I'm super excited for people to hear it. I think they're gonna have a good time. And so far as well, all the people that have listened to the album, every interviews we've done so far, every single person give me different favorite tracks, which is an excellent sign because it means this album vibes with people in different ways. Yeah, I couldn't be happier with that. It's not monodimensional. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, it's extremely diverse. That's for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's really what we try to do. So I'm glad you feel that way too.
Yeah, and I think you try to experience new things throughout the album. You still sound like Dune, like our previous albums, but you try to experience something new, and it turned out to be really, really great.
Thank you.
Was that something that you were looking for? Experiencing more and see what could he do, still being Dune?
Yes, 100%. I think what is very difficult, and I think it gets more and more and more difficult as you are writing more and more albums. So it's always like we've got a challenge ahead of us for the next one and the one after and the one after. So I always look up to bands who are able to bring new elements while keeping the identity of their music and not, completely, sometimes some bands change completely and sometimes it's for the worse. Some bands change and evolve in very interesting way. And I think it's it's great to see that. Like I'm thinking about a band like Ulver, for instance. Amazing. I think Mastodon on their first album, what a trip. They kept on changing sound and stuff like that while remaining quite coherent in their approach. I until Crack the Sky, for me, I'm like, amazing, what an amazing career. And yeah, that's very much something we wanted to do. We wanted to do something. We are not done with a heavier phase of our music, and in fact I think it's a heavier album. And I still feel we've got a lot of things to say, but here we wanted to bring, as I was saying, I'm repeating myself here, but we just wanted to bring a different approach with the same kind of musical vibe that is going in the band. So this is why this album sounds different. Also, the theme of the album, the fact that we're going into concept and we change between concept between two albums helps a lot with that. It allows us to kind of refine and make decisions on what we want to put in terms of no choice, arrangements, scenes, or the type of vocals we want to do. Having a concept help with that. We now looking at the music side of things, I think we really approach the album in a different ways when it comes to recording it, because we wanted to give more space for the drums. We wanted to have a more clear left and right guitars where you can, when you go and see the live shows, you're going to go like clearly, this is my guitar, this is the other guitarist guitar, and here's a bass that's really more present. We wanted the instruments to be more felt than what it was in Etemen. Etemen was mixed in a different way. Etemen is mixed as it's a more produced album. Voidkind has more of honest a vibe to it. It's still very much layered down, but it's a lot more honest. And we did that in the way we recorded the album with our producer, which is like rawer guitars, stronger and heavier guitars, more present bass again, drum that has been recorded. We recorded in a tower, so we have this room sound that's a lot more present. You certainly hear it on the snare. And then when it comes to the vocals, we pre-prod the vocals for the first time. So we really scratched our head on what do we want to do? How do we get better with the vocals? How do we bring stronger melodies? How do we bring a more emotional, heavy vocals as well? Because sometimes to time it's difficult to just scream and mean what you are screaming about. You cannot really scream about something if you cannot really relate it in some ways. So it's like acting, I guess. We have to have like lyrics that evoke something in us. And yeah, I think we manage that quite well. I think you can hear the individuality of each person recording on this album a lot. I mean, you can hear my accent when I'm singing, so and you can hear Dan's accent when he's doing his vocals, and same with Max. Same with by hearing these instruments better and clearer, you hear everyone's personality and everyone's interpretation of the music a lot better. So yeah, I think this is what happened with this album.
Yeah, I think so. You just described it perfectly.
Thank you.
This is also your third album, and third albums are always important to define a band, and even said that's the most important album of a band. Do you feel that way? Did you feel the pressure to make the most important album of your career?
Not in terms of career, but more in terms of when you're a musician, you are only as good in your head anyway. You're only as good as your last album. So the pressure for us is more feeling, there's this pressure which is not a very good pressure to put on yourself, which is you feel like the music you're putting out there reflects on your own creativity and what you are able to do as a person. So for us to do this was more for me the pressure. Are we able to do a good album? Are we able to reinvent ourselves? Are we able to bring something we haven't done already? Or are we already said everything that the band has to say? I know we're just going to be making a part two, or like I call it a DLC of the previous album. No. So what was your question again? Sorry, I kind of.
Did you feel the pressure to try and make
Yes.
your best album?
Yes, I think the pressure was that. The pressure was, are we able to sublime what we've done in the past? Are we able to make something different? And that's difficult. So yeah, the pressure is more linked to the challenge that we had, really, rather than a pressure on pleasing people and stuff like that. That comes after. Now we are releasing the music. People seems to enjoy it. That pressure, I'm not feeling it as much, because I also remember what happened when Dvne came out. Dvne came out with a couple of singles. People like the singles, but it's like slow build. And then the album comes out, it's like, oh, it's cool. And then it keeps happening. People come back to us and say, I just discovered this. First listen, I wasn't sure. I was like liking it, maybe, or I'm not quite sure about it. And then they start understanding what we're trying to do. I think this is going to be the same with this album. So we're just being patient with it.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be really well received. Not at first, as you said, it's going to be a grower, it's going to grow on people, but I think the ultimate result is going to be really, really good, as it
Yeah,
should.
you just said grower. I think this is exactly what our music is. We
Yeah.
are we only have done albums are growers, really. My favorite albums are all growers, so hey, I'm happy with this.
Yeah, and it should be. Now, you already said that, the fact that this album had a concept influenced a little bit in your composition process. What else was influential in the composition process for this album?
Well, music we listen to, obviously, like all the things that we've listened in the past and that we grow on, but also like newer artists, sorry. We've been mentioning Cloudkicker quite a lot on this album, which is an artist we love. I would go and check him out if you don't know him, Cloudkicker. and other artists like obviously outside of the metal scene as well, no? Music as well from like the Middle East and the Balkans. There's a lot of that creeps their way into our music and how we are playing our instruments. And then I would also say I think it's something people don't talk about a lot when they talk about their influences. You only talk about other bands, but we started being in a stage that we have members that I have to say I'm getting as much influence from this music as I am getting from other people in my band, you know. Like, you know, sometimes we are jamming together and our bassist who also wrote the guitars with me on this album, Alan, is jamming something on the guitar and I'm like, I pick up on something and he inspire me to do something and vice versa. And same with our drummer that gets jammed, then gets refined at home. And there is this kind of process that is happening, this feedback that is happening. And the reaction of each member of the band during this process and what they are bringing on the table is extremely inspiring because we just got these raw ideas and then on top of that we bring our own vibe to it, and then it helps making songs that are not just one person but are like, you know, multiple ideas merged together, which helps making songs that are not stuck and not stale and are interesting. So yeah, I've got to give it to the boys in the band, and then the same happens with like the other guys in the band when we start writing the synths and when we start writing the vocals. Personally, I love bouncing ideas back and forth with people. It's so I get the best results. So we've got a really good working dynamic in the band that allow us to just get inspired and get ideas, and nobody's scared of putting up ideas out there. It's a very safe environment, and also nobody gets offended if nobody likes something that they are putting on the table. All right, I've tried this. Nobody likes it. It's fine. Next. And this is very much how things works with us.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be. And if
Yeah,
it's not a safe environment for sharing your ideas, I mean, it's not worth composing at all.
I agree.
Now,
I agree.
you already mentioned that this album was a concept. Would you like to talk a little bit more about it? You know, what does it talk about lyrically and stuff?
Yeah. Of course. So this album is an album that focuses on the theme of religion and religion fanaticism, and how there is also an element. It's a metaphor to me anyway. It's a metaphor to organized religion and how organized religion has in history and in actuality right now lured their seduced and lured their followers really. I don't have a problem with religion at all. I have a problem with organized religion quite often, and how it's been treated and how it's been reused as well politically and all these kind of things. So this album talks about this topic, fanaticism and all the things that surrounds it. It's a very interesting topic. It's a topic that's always, unfortunately, always in fashion. And I also find it extremely interesting because he also created, like religion also in general, creates amazing things, creates amazing music, creates amazing art, amazing architectures, and sometimes even very interesting philosophy comes from religion, positive ones, not only negative things. So religion has this all like the philosophy of religion I always enjoy. Yeah, and all the other elements, inspiration he has bringing to people's life is also admirable, you know. So this talks about this, and then there is the darker side of things that you can hear on like other moments of the album. In general, a few things inspired us as well, which is the book and the different books. It's a series of books called the Hyperion Cantos by Dan Simmons. And also some video games and mangas that we particularly enjoy playing, which not necessarily about the story, but more about the aesthetic of what we are and the fashion, the way we are telling the story. So we talked about the manga Berserk. We talk also about the Dark Souls series, so all the From Software series, which are extremely immersive video games. You cannot just play them. You've got to play them and try to decipher what the story is about. Love that. I think we wanted to just take some of that and bring it in our music, so people read the lyrics and they don't go, oh yeah, this is about this. They go and they read the lyrics and they're like, huh, I don't quite necessarily sure what they are talking about. Let's explore a bit more, and then see, listen to other songs. Ah, that's probably what they talk about here. There's a reference to this point and all these kind of things. So yeah, Dan and I wrote the lyrics. Dan in the majority of them, I think he does a really good job at making things interesting and cryptical and in interesting way.
Yeah. I mean, it relates really good to the music. Now that you mention it, it just fits perfectly to your sound, I think.
Thank you.
Now, to this album, you already had some lineup changes. With the departure of Jack Kavanagh and Alan Patterson coming in. Also, the joining of a new member with Maxim Keller.
Yeah.
What compelled you into making all these changes? What happened?
So with Jack, it was an unfortunate change because Jack is is one of our best friends. We love him dearly, and he left the band because he wanted to start. He has a band called Trudger, which I invite you to check and keep an eye on, because they've got an album coming out soon, and the album is amazing. I've listened to it the other day. He's a very talented guitarist, and I think he wanted to write his own music. And he had something that he wanted to explore himself, so he left the band for that reason, and all power to him. Now we were a bit in a tricky situation because we had a member that was influential in the making of Etemenanka, and we needed someone to, again, I was mentioning bouncing ideas with someone we can get inspired from. And Alan was our bassist for our album Asheron. So we knew him, we knew we were working great together. The only reason he left was, first, touring at the time wasn't very fun. We used to sleep on floors and sleep on couches. And two, he had kids. He has two kids, so for him, touring wasn't as fun as it was for us. And he was, maybe missing his family and stuff like that. We called him and said, look, you don't have to do all the touring, but we would like you to come back and play with us. And the thing is equally good as Jack in different ways. And so have him coming back has been definitely a huge help and a huge factor in the success of us making this album, And yeah, it's been incredible. To be honest, I love playing with him. I love playing guitar with him. Dudley loves playing guitar with him, and he's such a good person to work with. And then for Max, Max joined us on Etemen. I was writing the scenes. I wanted, again, someone to jam ideas with and find ideas. So I'm not in a position where I have to write the scenes again. So it's going to end up sounding similar. And we got Max to join us in on tour. Another thing that Max does very well is he's a great singer. So we are able to do the harmonies and like the dual clean vocal sections live now. So we've really explored that with him. And yeah, man, it's incredible. Although Max and Dan were less involved on the early stage of the making of the album, like the guitars, bass, and drums, they were involved on the synths and the lyrics respectively, and the vocals. So yeah, we had a good ways of working on that, and these guys really just really made it. I think they are one of the biggest reasons why this album also is a success, because we're able to jam and build on all of these elements.
And so you can say that on the things that you wanted by having Max, you fulfilled them. It's just a more perfect band now.
Yeah, Max and I wrote the scenes together, so yes, it's definitely been a help. Yeah, for sure. I think right now we've got a stable lineup. You never know what tomorrow is made of, but the vibe in the band is great, and yeah, it's been definitely very helpful to have all these guys back in the band. So Alan and with a new member, Max.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're having fun.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
You
very
know,
true.
you already said that you're going to have some tours for this album. Which are the touring plans so far?
We've got 33 shows from end of April until mid-June. Some festivals during the summer. So we're gonna go all over Europe. We're not passing by you in Portugal, right?
Yeah, I don't think you're coming here.
No,
That's
not
another
yet.
plan.
We might later on this year, but it's not confirmed yet. So I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
anything yet. But we might make an appearance in your side of the world. We are gonna go and do UK, France, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, Denmark. I think we're doing Poland, Austria, Hungary. I think this is what's happening on this.
I think that's it, Victor. Thank you so much. It was an honor. Would you like to send any message to your Portuguese fans?
Yeah, I hope we get to see you guys soon on stage at a gig. And yeah, for all of you who likes our music and supported us in the past, thank you so much. And I sincerely hope you will enjoy Voidkind.